I am here with my father, Brian King, who is a member of the Isaac Walton League Conservation Group. I am interviewing him about the watershed. So, what is the number one reason that you joined Isaac Walton?
I joined our local chapter of the Isaac Walton because it is extremely close to Poolesville. It is about 5 miles out of town, and they consist of 673 acres that they oversee, that they own. It is a very vast property. We have woodlands, we have fields, we have creeks that all need to be protected. And as an organization, they strive for the best combination of use and protection.
So, what do you think the biggest problem with their watershed is?
Definitely runoff. Everything that runs from a field or a street or a parking lot eventually ends up in the Chesapeake Bay, which is our watershed. So that's any pollutants into the smallest stream will work its way to the watershed.
How do you think we can solve that runoff problem?
Well, at Isaac Walton, we do that in multiple ways. Our fields that we farm, we practice, it's called a no-till. We never disturb the ground, or we disturb the ground as little as possible when we plant. We will plant cover crops that die off and decay back into the ground to provide nutrients, and then we'll plant a crop on top of that. By not disturbing the soil, it greatly reduces erosion from our fields.
What is the purpose of the cover crop?
The roots from the cover crop, when it's not a season for growing a desirable crop, the roots from the cover crop help maintain the soil. They hold the soil and keep it from eroding easily, and then when those plants die off, they decay and turn back into the ground. Another benefit is we don't have to use fertilizers that way, which is another major concern for runoff.
Does Isaac Walton help the environment? If so, how?
Well, everything we do is to conserve our environment. While we're talking about runoff, we actually have a pond on our property that's sole purpose is to collect the runoff from our driveways and our parking lots. And what that does is gives the water a place to settle, so anything that could possibly be harmful will settle out in that water before it reaches one of our small streams. We have streams on our property that are direct contributaries to the Potomac River, which of course flows straight into the bay.
How is your ways of helping with not fertilizing and making sure the sediment doesn't end up in the streams? How do you think that this helps the watershed?
Well, obviously we are limiting what ends up in the water to start with. Everything we do is designed to limit runoff. That's why we don't plow the fields. That's why we have actually taken a lot of our unused farmland. Isaac slowly has bought up the farms around us as they become available. We are turning those back into forest. In the last few years, we've planted over 4,000 new trees to convert the fields that we don't farm back into woodland.
Thank you. It sounds like Isaac Walton League was making a very good effort at protecting our watershed.